Welcome, discerning minds, to another deep dive into the ideas that truly shape how we live and work. Today, we're taking on a concept we all chase, often at great personal cost, but one that subtly shifts its nature the moment we grasp it: success.
Right. We tend to think of success as, the finish line.
Exactly. A mountain climbed, a challenge conquered, a goal achieved. The story usually ends there, with this sort of triumphant flourish, right? A
Mhm.
sense of having made it.
But what if that's just, well, the end of the first chapter?
That's the question. What if, as the insightful thinker Simon Sinek puts it, our greatest test may not come from the path we travel to success?
Mm.
Our greatest test is what we do with success once we find it.
That really hits differently, doesn't it?
It does. And that's the electrifying question at the heart of this deep dive. What if the real, the most demanding task begins precisely when you achieve what you set out to do?
It's such a counterintuitive idea. It pushes back against so many of our cultural narratives, the lone hero, the individual triumph.
Absolutely. And to explore this, we've pulled together a really rich array of sources. We've got modern thinkers like Sinek and Ryan Holiday, timeless strategies from figures like Robert Greene, Dale Carnegie.
And even insights from sports coaches, which often have this brilliant, simple clarity.
Yeah, exactly. Our mission today is to unpack why finding success can, maybe surprisingly, be more treacherous than the pursuit of it.
And maybe more importantly, how to navigate this new landscape. How to understand that true sustainable achievement is fundamentally, undeniably collaborative.
So prepare to maybe reframe your entire understanding of what it means to genuinely win.
It is an uncomfortable truth, isn't it? Our collective consciousness is just, well, it's saturated with these narratives of individual heroics.
Oh, completely. You think about the tech founder, right? Building an empire from a garage, supposedly all on their own.
Or the athlete overcoming impossible odds through sheer personal determination, winning that gold medal.
We lionize that singular leader who turns things around against all odds. These stories are powerful. They underscore personal drive, resilience.
They absolutely do. But as Sinek points out, and as, let's be honest, human experience consistently reminds us, the deepest challenges, the most unexpected, often the most destructive ones, they frequently emerge after that individual success is achieved.
This is what we're calling the paradox of achievement.
And it's not just an abstract idea, is it? We see it play out all the time, sometimes tragically.
You really do. You hear about lottery winners, right?
Yeah.
Instant multimillionaires, and somehow within a few years, they're bankrupt.
Or celebrities reaching the absolute peak, the pinnacle of fame, and then self-destruction
Yeah.
publicly.
Yeah, and those stories of entrepreneurs who build these huge, successful companies but lose their family, their health, their purpose, sometimes even their ethics along the way.
And leaders who finally get that top job, the CEO position, the big political office, only to feel profoundly isolated, unfulfilled, questioning everything.
Just begs the question, doesn't it? Why?
Yeah.
Why would achieving our biggest dreams become harder than the often grueling pursuit of them?
And the answer, from what our sources suggest, is subtle but profound. It's that success fundamentally changes the rules of the game in ways that most people never anticipate.
The whole landscape shifts. The dynamics are completely different.
Exactly. And ironically, the very qualities that got us there, that drive, that focus, can suddenly become liabilities if we're not really aware.
This unexpected change, this metamorphosis of the playing field, that's where the paradox really hits home. It turns triumph into a test.
And a huge part of that test involves avoiding what you called the seductive trap of individual achievement.
Right. We all know that climbing mindset, that laser focus on building your own capabilities, honing skills, becoming faster, smarter, working harder than everyone else.
You become an expert at overcoming personal obstacles,
Yeah.
battling self-doubt, surviving on no sleep, mastering complexity.
And you're constantly trying to distinguish yourself, stand out. This individualistic approach,
Yeah.
it works. It's often necessary during that pursuit phase. It gets you up the mountain.
It's the engine, right? Personal determination, self-reliance. But then success arrives, and this dangerous little voice starts whispering.
Yes, the sources put it so well. Success whispers lies that failure never dares to speak.
And the most insidious lie,
Yeah.
the most damaging, it's the belief that your achievement was purely down to your individual effort.
Yeah, think about it. When you're struggling, when you're climbing, you have to be humble, right? You're hungry.
You're naturally collaborative because you know you need others. You seek out mentors, you're grateful for help, you're aware of your limits. Your reliance on others is just obvious.
It's like that founder who suddenly starts downplaying the role of their early team after they hit it big, or the athlete forgetting the coaches and teammates.
Exactly. That illusion creeps in this false belief that you've somehow transcended your need for others.
As if the spotlight blinds you to the scaffolding that got you there.
Precisely. And this is where it gets really profound. The very qualities that fueled that individual success, the intense focus, the drive, the self-reliance can, ironically, become huge obstacles.
Obstacles to what?
To the collaborative relationships that are absolutely essential for making success meaningful, sustainable, and truly impactful in the long run.
So the skills that get you to the top aren't the same skills that keep you there effectively.
Not at all. The playbook completely changes. And if you're still running those old plays, focusing only on yourself, you're setting yourself up for a fall.
Okay, so if success pushes us towards this isolation trap, what's the alternative? How do we make it meaningful, sustainable?
Well, the sources point overwhelmingly to one thing: collaboration.
Which brings us to that fascinating quote from Coach Ortiz. It takes 22 feet to score a goal.
Yeah, it sounds a bit strange at first, doesn't it? Why 22 feet?
Right, if I'm the one kicking it, it's just my 2 feet. But it reveals this fundamental truth that our culture often hides.
In soccer, it doesn't matter how gifted one player is. Scoring requires the coordinated effort of all 11 teammates. 22 feet working together.
It's the collective human effort that achieves something significant.
And this isn't just sports. It applies everywhere. Think about the entrepreneur again.
They didn't build that company alone. Employees, customers, suppliers, investors. It's a whole ecosystem.
Or the scientist making a breakthrough. They stand on the shoulders of giants, collaborate with colleagues, rely on funding, peer review.
Even the artist creating a masterpiece. They draw on traditions, use tools others made, connect with an audience.
Yet somehow our dominant narratives just minimize this collaborative reality. We focus on the hero, gloss over the network.
And that creates this dangerous blind spot. It becomes really problematic once we actually achieve success.
Which is precisely where Dale Carnegie's wisdom becomes incredibly relevant. You know his famous line.
About being interested versus interested.
Exactly. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested than you can in 2 years by trying to get other people interested in you.
It sounds like simple social advice.
On the surface, yes, but apply it to handling success. And it becomes a crucial strategy for building those collaborative foundations we need.
And think about that shift that happens. When we're pursuing success, we have to be curious. We ask questions, seek advice, show interest, because we need others.
It's organic, instinctual almost. But once you're successful, the dynamic flips.
Suddenly, everyone wants something from you. Your time, advice, resources, connections.
Right. You're surrounded by people wanting things rather than people offering things or collaborating as equals.
And that can make you lose that genuine curiosity about others.
It really can. If you feel you've arrived or you're constantly fielding requests, that natural interest can just atrophy. And that undermines your ability to maintain the relationships you need long term.
So the real test is, can you stay genuinely interested in others even when you're the center of attention?
Can you still see yourself as part of the team, not just the star player? That's the challenge, staying a seeker, not just a source.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk about something that might feel counterintuitive when you're successful. Strategic vulnerability.
Ah, yes. Robert Greene's idea about displaying a hint of weakness. It takes on a whole new meaning here.
Greene talks about showing an occasional glimpse into the soft, frail side of your character, but usually after people know you, to humanize you.
When you're climbing, maybe you feel you need that facade of strength. The stakes feel different.
But once you're in a position of influence, showing appropriate vulnerability becomes crucial, not just for personal connection, but for the team's effectiveness.
Absolutely critical. Teams thrive when people feel safe, acknowledging limitations, asking for help, contributing their unique perspective without fear.
And a leader who pretends to have all the answers actually shuts that down.
Completely. If the boss acts infallible, why would anyone admit they're stuck? Or suggest an alternative that challenges the leader's perfect plan? It stifles everything.
So this isn't about seeking sympathy. Strategic vulnerability, in this context, is about creating conditions for, what do the sources call it? Collective intelligence.
Exactly. Imagine a leader saying, look, I get the big picture, but the technical details on this piece, that's not my strength. Sarah, I really need your expertise here.
That immediately empowers Sarah, right? And it signals to everyone else, your specialized knowledge is essential. Bring it.
It creates a culture where contributions are valued, even if they involve pointing out a flaw in the leader's thinking.
But it requires real skill, doesn't it? knowing when and how.
Oh, absolutely. High emotional intelligence. Like a team captain knowing when to show confidence and when to acknowledge uncertainty. It's about timing, context, appropriateness.
And Green's point about the soft, frail side, that humanizes the leader.
Yes. Seeing leaders as fellow humans, not just flawless performers, encourages others to bring their authentic selves too, and that authenticity fuels real teamwork.
This connects nicely to how we think about persistence, doesn't it? The idea evolves too.
It really does. We hear wisdom like little and often over the long haul from Coach Moran, or just showing up even when you don't feel like it.
And initially, we think individual grit, pushing through personal obstacles, you against the world.
Right. But persistence in collaborative success is different. It's showing up consistently, not just for your performance, but for the team's collective effectiveness.
So my consistency affects everyone else's ability to contribute.
Directly. Your reliable presence, your sustained effort, it provides a stable platform for the whole team. It's not just about your output anymore. It's about enabling theirs.
Churchill comes back here. His persistence during the war wasn't just personal resolve.
No, it was about showing up daily in ways that enabled millions of others, soldiers, workers, civilians, to maintain their persistence.
Even those moments of finding joy, like the toy train story we'll get to, they were part of that.
Integral to it, keeping him grounded, human, inspiring others. It wasn't separate from his leadership, it fueled it.
So, little and often, for a team, that's more complex than just individual discipline.
Much more. Coordinating efforts, maintaining morale for diverse people, it requires a different kind of consistency, the rhythm of the collective.
And the little actions might be things like checking in on someone's well-being.
Exactly. Or celebrating team wins, sharing credit generously. These are the little and often things that lubricate the gears of collaboration, that make collective persistence possible.
It builds that compounding effect over time.
Which leads us beautifully to reframing wealth, the insight. Wealth is not about how much you have, but about how much you are able to give away.
How does that apply here?
Through the lens of collaboration, true wealth isn't individual accumulation, money, status, whatever. It's the capacity to contribute to collective efforts that create value for many.
So moving from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, where my success helps others flourish.
Precisely. It completely reframes how we measure success. Not by what I acquire, but by what I enable others to achieve.
That's a huge shift. Like the talented soccer player who never passes. Great skills, but the team loses.
Exactly. Their individual brilliance becomes a bottleneck. The successful person hoarding resources does the same.
So an entrepreneur's true wealth is creating opportunities. Value for customers.
Yes.
Innovation for society.
Yes. A teacher's wealth is their students' growth. A leader's wealth is the flourishing of their team, not just their title. It's about lifting all boats.
And this helps explain why success feels hard. Because it demands this shift.
I think so. Climbing is about getting. Succeeding meaningfully is about giving, contributing. It's a recalibration, often uncomfortable.
You have to find satisfaction in others' wins. Measure your worth differently. Define your identity through your role in the collective.
Can you celebrate the assist as much as the goal? That's the character test.
Now let's dive into that Churchill story properly. Ryan Holiday tells it in The Daily Dad, right? About the toy trains.
Yes, it's 1944, height of the war. Churchill sees a young soldier assembling a toy train set for his grandson.
And instead of just moving on, Churchill gets completely absorbed.
He waves away the soldier's salute, just watches intently, asks him to add a second engine.
And then gets down on his hands and knees grinning and says,
Yeah, let's have a crash.
amazing. And Holiday's point is, this wasn't just a break. It was core to his sustainable leadership.
Exactly. Maintaining humanity, joy, wonder, connection. These were integral to his effectiveness, not distractions from it.
It's like kids give us an excuse sometimes,
Yeah.
right? To access that playful side, crashing trains, building Legos, being silly.
But it's not just an excuse. It's an important part of life. That joy, that playfulness, we shouldn't lose it. And we should invite others into it.
And for Churchill, that playfulness was actually a profound act of leadership.
Because it helped him remain the kind of person others wanted to follow, wanted to work alongside, especially through unimaginable hardship. It kept him human, relatable.
That connects to another seemingly soft but actually crucial idea. Inner peace creates peace in the world.
It sounds philosophical, but think about it collaboratively. If achievement relies on coordinated effort, your individual inner peace becomes a direct contribution to the team's effectiveness.
It's a resource you bring, a calming influence.
Absolutely. Someone bringing calm, clarity, a grounded presence, it makes it easier for everyone else to perform. Churchill's joy boosted morale. Think about the opposite.
An anxious leader creates an anxious team.
Exactly. So that meditation practice, therapy, vacation, hobby, they aren't selfish. They're investments in your capacity to contribute effectively. They're team maintenance.
Neglecting your inner well-being actually harms the collective effort.
Definitely. Burned out leaders create toxic cultures. People out of touch with their values create dysfunctional environments. The cascade effect is real.
But when successful people maintain inner peace, they foster, what did you call it, peaceful productivity.
Yeah, environments where high performance and human well-being support each other. You show that achievement doesn't require sacrificing humanity.
Which brings us to maybe the most complex skill needed, integration.
Yes, the ability to hold multiple truths simultaneously. To be confident and humble, strong and vulnerable, focused and flexible, all at once.
And this is harder after success.
Much harder. Climbing, you might focus on one skill. In collaborative leadership, multiple capabilities have to work in harmony, and you have to help others integrate too.
Churchill's train story again, there was integration in action.
Perfectly. Strategic thinking, humanity matters, emotional intelligence, connecting with the soldier, leadership presence, childlike wonder, all integrated in one moment.
And this extends to the team, helping them integrate their individual skills with collective goals, their personal growth with team effectiveness.
Yes, it requires incredibly high emotional and social intelligence. It's the art of enabling collective brilliance, helping diverse parts find synergy.
This leads naturally to Robert Frost's line. To sum up everything I've learned about life in 3 words, it goes on. How does that fit?
It gives perspective. Individual wins are temporary, moments. But the collaborative relationships, the 10 capabilities, the collective impact that continues, it ripples outwards beyond any one person.
And this perspective helps explain why some people struggle with success and others thrive.
I think so. If you see success as purely individual, you fear losing it, fear replacement, feel isolated. It's a lonely peak.
But if you see it as part of something larger, ongoing,
Then your achievements become sources of connection, not separation. You're part of a flow, a continuing story. You can handle the ebbs and flows better.
your role shifts. You're not the solo hero anymore.
Right. You become maybe a key supporting character in a much bigger narrative about what humans can achieve together.
And that doesn't diminish your importance.
Not at all. It places it in a more profound context. Your unique contribution matters more because it enables this larger collective effort. It ties your legacy to a shared future.
Okay, so how do we make this practical? Move from understanding to doing. We need these team mindset practices, right?
Exactly. Habits that reinforce collaboration keep us connected even as our status changes.
Like actively seeking feedback.
Yes, and not just from your peers or direct reports. Ask junior staff, admin, clients. Get that 360-degree view of your actual impact. Check your blind spots.
And staying connected to those early relationships. Mentors, early colleagues.
Crucial. Don't lose touch with the team thinking that got you there. A regular coffee, a check-in, call it, anchors you.
And accessing that inner child again.
Yes. Children play, share, find joy collectively. Maintaining those qualities keeps us connected to that collaborative spirit. It fights off rigidity and self-importance.
What about those contribution practices?
Things focused on giving, not getting. Mentoring others, sharing knowledge freely, celebrating others' wins genuinely. Using your success to create opportunities for those still climbing. Consciously paying it forward. And finally, maintaining perspective.
Reminding yourself who helped you. Studying effective collaboration. Understanding how your piece fits into the bigger picture. Remembering you're a vital link, not the whole chain. So let's bring it all back to Simon Sinek's core idea, the ultimate test.
The question isn't, how successful can I be? It becomes, how can my success contribute to collective efforts that create real value for many?
It's a total transformation in how we define achievement, recalibrating the scoreboard.
And it means expanding our definition of winning. Individual victories only truly matter if they enable collective ones.
My success is only truly successful if it makes it easier for others to succeed.
It's not about being the tallest tree, but about helping the whole forest grow.
And Coach Ortiz is 22 feet. That's the constant reminder. Meaningful achievement is always collaborative.
Always. You can't score the goals that matter most alone. You need the support, the collaboration, the shared commitment. It's always a team sport.
So the test is making that transition from effective individual to effective collaborator and leader.
Can you use your success to help others thrive? Can you turn individual capability into collective power? Can you find joy in enabling others?
And every day presents opportunities to pass or fail this test.
But unlike school tests, this one lets you learn and improve continuously. Stumble today, learn, adapt, pass tomorrow. Develop those collaborative muscles over time.
Because success isn't the destination, it's a transition.
A fundamental shift. From responsibility for just your performance to shared responsibility for the flourishing of a much larger effort. Demands different skills, mindsets, practices.
The path to success tests determination, skill, resilience.
But success itself tests wisdom, character, your ability to stay a collaborative partner under pressure. It reviews how you contribute collectively.
So the ultimate measure isn't individual accomplishment.
It's what you enable others to accomplish collectively. If your success makes you more generous, collaborative, peaceful, better at helping others win, you're passing the test.
But if it makes you more isolated, competitive, anxious, harder to work with,
Then regardless of the external markers, you're failing that deeper test.
success in the end isn't just reaching your goals.
It's about becoming the kind of person who helps others reach theirs. Understanding that the biggest goals need those 22 feet.
And learning to play your part with skill, integrity, and joy.